Okay, is everybody there? Colossians chapter 4, verse 6. We're talking about good communication today. So who is going to read for us? Let me get Treasure to read for us.
Okay.
Let
your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man.
Okay. Did everybody hear her?
Yes, ma'am.
Who has a different version? Whose Bible said something different? I always like to hear the different versions that are in our different Bibles. Whose Bible said something different? Treasure, say it again. Treasure, read it again. Let everybody look at your Bibles and tell me whether what Treasure is reading is what you can see.
Wait, what verse was it?
Verse 6.
Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man.
Yeah, that's what my version says as well. Any other person has a different piece. Can you read what you have? Colossians chapter 4, verse 6. Please, can you read what you have?
When you talk, you should always be kind and wise. Then you will be able to answer everyone in the way you should.
So, like I said today, we're talking about good communication, and it takes you're going to learn today how to communicate effectively and how to have a good communication with your friends. We all want to have the right friends and communicate with our friends. And you want, when you communicate with your friend, you don't want to leave your friend feeling like, oh, what's wrong with that person, or what's wrong with that girl. You want to show forth who you are. You want people to know who you are through your communication, So let us start with the first part of this. Let's read, what is God talking about? What is God encouraging us in the Bible about good communication? It says, let your conversation be always full of grace. Full of grace. Who can tell me something about grace? When you hear grace, what comes to mind? Peace?
What comes to my mind when I hear grace is mercy.
Mercy. Okay. Ruth?
Just like something good that's going to happen.
Okay. Who else? Grace. So when I hear grace, I hear unmerited favor. Grace is something you didn't merit it. It's just grace. That's the grace God has given us. So it says, let your conversation be always full of grace. And when I hear grace, I don't hear judgment. Because when you are not showing grace to somebody, when you're not showing mercy to somebody, that means you are showing judgment. You are being you're judging your friend, or judging who you're communicating with. So when you're communicating with your friend or communicating with people, let it be full of grace. Because number one thing we should remember is that Jesus died for us. He gave us, he took our sin. He showed us the greatest love ever. And because of that, we do not have a right to judge another human being. We have to show forth the same love that God has shown to us, to other people. So that is why when you're communicating with people, you come with the mindset of grace. You come with the mindset of mercy. You come with the mindset of not judging. The other version that Peace read said, kind and wise. Kind and wise. When you're communicating with people, you communicate with kindness and wisdom. That is what full of grace means. Who has another, synonym or another way of describing grace when you're talking to your friend or talking to a stranger or talking to people? What? Treasure? Go on.
Blessing.
Say that again.
Blessing.
Blessing. Okay. So this is the first part, says full of grace. Now, The next thing says seasoned with salt. Seasoned with salt. Who can tell me what salt does? When you think of salt, what does it do? Blessing?
It makes your food better.
It makes your, say that again.
It makes your food taste better.
It makes your food taste better. It sweetens the food. It seasons the food. It flavors the food. And that is what God wants us to be. Flavor, season. You know that when you talk to people, somebody and leave the person, they'll be like, there's something different about that girl or that boy. There's something different about her. You know, because you come with grace, you come with seasoned with salt. That means you come with flavor. And where are you getting this flavor from? Where are you getting this flavor from? Who can tell me? William, where are you getting this flavor from?
Because who said that we're getting the flavor from God?
From
He is
God.
the one who's giving us all of this flavor.
Yes. The flavor comes from God. Because you dwell, because you know God, and because you are a child of God, and God is love, and you have that same spirit of God in you, and therefore you have the ability to show love to others. You don't have to fake it. You don't have to say, oh, I have to smile a lot, or I have to please this person to show love. No, it comes from inside. You don't have to pretend to show love. You just have to be yourself. You're a human being, okay? You occupy space, and you have the Spirit of God in you. That's all you should know, is that I have the Spirit of God in me, and God's Spirit is love. And therefore, when I speak, love comes out. I don't have to fake it. I don't have to say, oh, let me say something nice now so that, they will know that I have the love of God. You don't have to do something to show the love of God. You just have to be, because the Spirit of God shines through you. So another thing, what other thing does salt do? Peace? No, peace. You just told me. Was it peace that said no? Peace. Okay, tell me.
So salt makes you feel better when you have a sore throat.
Well done, you. It heals. It kind of
I know.
when you have a burn on your, if you witness a burn, or maybe you burnt yourself mistakenly on the oven. I do that sometimes when I'm cooking, and then you have to put a salt there to heal that place so it doesn't get so messed up. Your flesh doesn't get so messed up. It could sting a bit, but it heals. Salt is used in many ways to heal, many ways to help, and that is what you are. We're talking about good communication, so let's start with who you are first, because you have to know what you bring to the table, so that you don't come to communicate with somebody and think, oh, the person is doing you a favor, and you're like feeling shy and feeling like, I don't know what to say, I don't know who I am. I'm trying to tell you the things that you have on the inside, the things that make you shine, the things that you're bringing to the table. Because in your mind, you'd be like, I am a child of God, and I have all this flavor coming out of me. And coming with that position helps you to communicate without being afraid, without overthinking, without feeling ashamed. You just communicate. So we've talked about the grace that you bring. We talked about you are the salt. You are seasoned with salt. Say, let your conversation be seasoned with salt. We talked about what does salt bring. Salt brings, we said, sweetens the food. Peace said it heals. And so you're bringing healing to people when you speak to them, because you are the salt of the earth. I will show you the verse. I hope everybody has a pen and paper where you're going to write the verse which talks about salt and light. But what else does salt bring? I know that, was it Adefolayo that had something to say about salt?
I want to say something.
Okay, let me hear from Adefolayo first. Was it him? Adefolayo, tell me. I heard it was you that wanted to say something. Was it you? Yes or no? Oh, it was Darasimi. Right. Okay, Darasimi. Okay. Tell me about salt. What else does salt do?
Salt makes your food more better.
It makes your food more better. It flavors the food. It sweetens the food. It seasons the food, just as we talked about. Treasure, go on.
Salt melts ice, just like God melts our fear away.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That is so true. Let's think about this. This is who we are. Oh. Let us think about it this way. Salt melts ice. Salt melts ice. So when you come, you have somebody that is hardened, or somebody that doesn't feel like that doesn't have the love of God in them. Are you supposed to be afraid to communicate with them? Not really, because they don't determine who you are. You are the one that is you're melting the ice. You come with salt, which helps the communication. Your communication does not totally depend on that other person. You have to remember what you bring to the table, you bring to your friends, you bring to the playground when you're communicating. Okay, so that's really good. I love that. I love that, Treasure. Who else has something to say about salt? Toby, was that you? Okay, go on.
Okay, so let's say the salt is the bad. Let's say the ice is the bad thing, and then the salt, which is God, comes to wash away the light ice.
Yeah.
To wear it out of us, and then the salt comes in our body.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, same thing. Salt breaks the ice, isn't it? Salt melts the ice, and so we are the ones that were melting any hardness in the communication, or anything that is bringing tension. Maybe two of your friends are quarreling, or they are exchanging words, and they're not communicating properly. You, as the salt, you come, and when you communicate, you're melting the ice. You're melting the tension, the hatred, or the quarrel. You come with something. You bring something to that conversation. You bring something to the table. I love that. What else do you know about salt? Okay, we'll take one more. William? William?
I know that I would say that, for example, if darkness was fish and the light was fish seasoning, if someone was walking around with no seasoning, then they wouldn't be a part of God's kingdom. All you have to do is just help them, convince them to be in God's glory, so God can shower them with his salt or his fish seasoning.
Okay. Now, I want you to see this as you are the salt, okay? God, don't look at it like, oh, it's only God that is the salt. Let us read Matthew chapter 5. Let me show you what God said about you, what Jesus said about you. Matthew chapter 5, verse 13. I am going to read it for the sake of time. I want everybody to write it down. Matthew chapter 5, verse 13. It is so important to know who you are. What you bring to the table when you're communicating with people is what we are talking about here. It says, let your conversation be seasoned with salt. Let it be full of grace. And we've talked about what salt brings, what salt does. And so you need to see yourself as, this is what I bring when I'm communicating. I'm not coming to the playground to, oh, somebody should please be my friend, or somebody should please talk to me. I feel, you don't feel like you're not bringing anything to that conversation. You're bringing so much because you're a child of God. So when you come knowing, I am full of grace. When I speak to people, I show grace. I show favor. I heal when there's a problem. When I talk, people want to hear me. When you start having this mindset about yourself, knowing who God created, you will have good communication with people. You won't think that, oh, let me just say this to please somebody, or let me just say this to get friends. You will not be you will not you will not be struggling to get friends, because you know who you are. You come with talking with the knowledge of who you are. So chapter 5 verse 13 says, chapter, did I say chapter 5 verse 13?
Yes.
Okay, you are the salt of the earth. This is Jesus talking. Okay? He says, you Blessing, you Emmanuel, you William, all of you here, Tiwa, you are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. You will not lose your saltiness because you are connected to God. The more you stay connected to God, you will not lose your saltiness. So verse 14 says, you are the light of the world. You are the light of the world. Let me just jump to, okay, let me continue. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. You cannot be hidden because you are the light, so you have to shine. People do not put a lamp under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand so that it gives light to everyone. So you are the one giving light to everyone. And in the same way, let your light shine. This is verse 16. Let your light shine before others that they may see your good deeds and glorify God in heaven. So the more you shine your light, the more you communicate with people effectively, good communication, the more that you are glorifying your Father. Okay, shine your light because he's giving you everything. He has given you everything to shine your light. Now let's move on. Let's quickly move on to practical tips, practical steps that you can use to communicate effectively, that you can use to have good communication. What is one thing I can see that all of you do in this class? Active listening. You know, when you're conversing with your friend, I know in your mind you have a lot to say when your friend is talking, but you want to listen when the person is talking. If Peace is talking to me and as she's talking to me, I'm listening to her. She feels the love. She feels the healing. She feels what they say. She feels your mercy. She feels your attention. She feels, she feels connected to you. She feels like this is a friendship. And that is what God wants us to bring. So this is how to practically show, good communication when you're actively listening to your friend or your teacher or whoever that is communicating with you, whoever is standing in front of you at a particular time is important to you because you have to now show God's love to that person. So you speak to when the person is speaking, you actively listen. You have good eye communication. You look at the person in the eye. Don't be ashamed. Don't be the one that does this. That when somebody's talking, you're like that. No, look at the person and talk to the person because you have something to bring, because you are the light of the world. You're the one shining. So when you are listening to your friend, you are trying to understand them. That makes them feel heard, feel understood, and they will value you. They will value your friendship. Now, another thing is, how to be, show effective communication. Let's talk about that. We talked about the eye contact. We talked about another thing is not interrupting your friends. When everybody wants to talk, like you have a story, your friend is telling you a story, or your teacher is telling you a story, and before the person finishes the sentence, you get into them. They don't feel like you're listening to them. They'll just feel like, oh, you're not listening to me. You're not hearing me. And therefore you're not showing that favor. You're not showing that mercy. You're not being wise. You're not being kind. So being kind and being the salt of the earth is for you to listen to that person, allow the person to talk, and then you can talk. Not just trying to talk all the time and not allowing the person to talk. Now, another thing is reflecting back to that person. You can ask questions. It's not just you listening and you're not saying anything, but they want you to communicate and talk and ask questions and say back what that person said. This is what good communication is about. The person feels connected to you. Show respect. Respect is good for good communication. When you're speaking to somebody, whether the person is young, whether the person is old, whether the person is your mate, show respect because that's what God has called us to be. Kind. Kind is respect. The verse that Peace read said, let your conversation be kind and wise. Okay, so show respect to people as you're talking to them. don't say, oh, because this person is a small child, you know, you feel, oh, the person doesn't, you don't care about the person. Care about everybody, because Jesus died for everybody on this earth. Okay, they've just not come to know Jesus, but you still have to show the love of God through them, because that's how you show that you're a child of God. So this is very important when you're having good communication, that you have so much to bring to the table. You have so much. You're not coming and saying, oh, I'm a nobody. Maybe people might not like me, so I'll just listen, or I'll just not look at them when they're talking. No, you are the salt, you are the light, you have the Spirit of God in you, and God has given you so much to give to your world. So much is inside you that you just need to stand and talk to the people, talk to your friends. If it's a stranger, if it is the teacher, whoever is in front of you, talk to them in a way that they know that, oh wow, there's something coming out of this child. Do you understand? Do you all understand what I'm saying about good communication here? Yeah, I can see your hand. Yeah, it is so important to know who you are first when you're communicating with people, so that when you communicate with confidence. You don't shy away or feel like, oh, if I go and meet this group of people, I don't have so much to bring to the conversation, so they might not want to be my friend. No, you have so much. You have so much to bring to your friendship. You have so much to bring to people. So communicate with that confidence, remembering that you are the light of the world. You are the salt of the earth. You have God's Spirit in you, and you are going to show God's love to everyone. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so somebody can give me, thumbs up. So who can tell me, what have you got from this? I want to hear from you now. Blessing.
When your friend is talking, you shouldn't talk over them.
Well done. You shouldn't talk over them. You should listen and communicate with them. Listen and get your turn to talk and ask questions. When you ask questions, or when you say back what your friend said, the person will feel like, oh, she heard me. She actually heard me talk. You know, when you say back what the person said, that, oh, wow, did you say your mom came to school today? And they'll be like, oh, wow, she heard me. That's how to communicate effectively. Ruth, go on.
That we should always be the salt of the earth. So we must be a good child of God, so we can tell more people and bring more people closer to God. So a lot of people will be the salt of the earth and to make the earth good.
Yes, well done, you, Ruth. Dara Simi.
I've learned that salt melts ice and salt heals people.
And therefore, what do you do? Salt. In relation to salt, what do you do? Who is the salt of the earth, Darasimi? Who is the salt of the earth? Say, I am the salt of the earth. Say that.
I am the salt of the earth.
Say it, everybody say it. I am the salt of the earth.
I am the salt of the earth.
I want to hear everybody. I am the salt of the earth.
I am the salt of the earth.
I am the light of the world.
I am the light of the light.
I bring flavor to the world. I bring healing to the world. This is who God created. God created you with this, and you have to know this, because when you know it, you communicate effectively. Well done, Darasimi. Emmanuel.
I learned that salt is sweet,
Mm.
and that we are salt.
Yeah, and we are sweet as well. We are the salt of the earth, and if salt is sweet, what are you, Emmanuel? What are you, Emmanuel? If salt is sweet, what are you?
I am the salt of the world.
You are sweet. That's what I want you to say. If salt is sweet, therefore I am sweet. Yes. Treasure, what about you?
I have learned that we need to show respect and care about people and communicating with us, because even though if they have different religion or no religion at all, we are still the children of God, and we need to respect people just like God respects us.
Well done, you.
That salt can do, it can destroy words, just like God destroy all evil around us, because he loves us and he's God of love, and he will always be love, and he will always protect us.
Yes, well done, you. Salt, you said destroys worms, and that is true. The things that are not, darkness, or things that are not are trying to bring you down. Salt will destroy it because you have the Spirit of God in you. So you don't have to be afraid of the darkness because you are the light. Well done. Adefalayo. Yes, and if salt makes everybody's food sweet, what does that mean about you, Adefalayo?
I am sweet.
You are sweet. I like that. You are sweet. You have to know these things. Children, you have to know it so that when you are talking to people, talking to strangers, you will not be like, oh, I am nothing. No, in your mind, I have favor, and I can bring sweetness to this conversation. I can bring light to this conversation. So you will talk with confidence. You will communicate. You will listen. You will not be quick to answer or quick to talk, because you'll be like, let me listen so the person can feel the love of God, feel that they're heard, and then I will talk, and then we'll have a conversation. That is how to have good communication. Somebody, please go on.
When we want to have a conversation with somebody, we should not think that we are nobody, because we are somebody in the hands of God. Because since salt is sweet, we are sweet, and if we are sweet, then we will make for example, we are the salt, and everyone outside is what we are going to sweeten. Once we are on it, there's no going back, because we would have made that thing sweet until it's gone.
Yeah, well done, you. I love that. I want you guys to keep saying this, keep telling me. I love to hear that. Who you are. You are saying who you are. You are sweet. You have something to bring to the conversation, to communicate. Even when people come with bad intentions, or they're like, look at you, and they are telling you off, or they are trying to insult you or dish you, you don't have to do the same thing to them. You remember, I am salt, and therefore I bring healing, and therefore I speak with respect, and therefore you will say the right things, and the Spirit of God is in you. He will give you the words to say at every time. Tiwa. Come on. Yeah? Tell me what you learned.
I learned that I am sweet and that you should always be kind.
You should always be kind. So what about communication have you learned? What practical tips have you learned about communication? What do you do when your friends are talking? One thing. William?
You listen.
You listen actively. Have that eye contact. Talk to them. William, have you told me what you learned? Toba, go on. We're almost running out of time, so I need you to tell me. Just you, Toba.
What I learned is that the salt is God, and the ice is devil. Is the devil.
Okay, William, what of you?
That when you talk,
You're on mute, William.
I mean that when you are talking about grace, it means that you know about God. You have the seasoning of His Spirit. And if anyone is just plain no seasoning, he is not a part of God. We thank you. God will give us the power to give him some seasoning as well in the name of Jesus.
Okay. Toby, I think yeah, you're the last. Go on. Tell me what you learned.
I learned that we should not be afraid.
We should not be afraid.
And that we should believe in ourselves.
We should believe in ourselves. Okay. I love that, Toby. We should not be afraid. We should believe in ourselves. We should believe in ourselves because we have the Spirit of God in us. So when we are talking, we will not say, oh, if I say this, they will laugh at me. Or if I talk like this, they will laugh at me. No, you come to the table with, I'm not afraid. I'm going to be who I am because I have so much to bring, and I'm going to talk, and I'm going to listen to them when they talk, and I'm going to have a good communication, And even when people are nasty, you're not nasty because you have the Spirit of God. You don't have the same spirit that they have. You have a different spirit because you are the salt of the earth and you are the light of the world. That is why I want us to read it again. Let me read it again to you. Let your conversation be always full of grace. That is full of mercy, full of kindness, full of wisdom, and seasoned with salt. We've talked about all the things. If you want to remember how to communicate, think about salt and what salt brings to the earth, and so that you may know how to answer everyone. Okay, I want your memory verse that you will learn this week. And before we will pray, I think all of you, yes. So we're going to pray now. So have you got your assignment? You're going to learn the memory verse, Colossians chapter 4, verse 6. Okay? Is that okay with everybody?
Yes. So we're reciting it.
Yes, we are.